Hey, Soul Tribe, thank you so much for joining us on Yiannah's channel and also on my own. So I'm Solreta Yiannah. You guys know me as a psychic tarot reader, as well as making many products, including how to see auras as a course and hypnotic subliminals, as well as my beautiful potions too. So we've got so much to talk about today. Today, we're going to be talking about, let me just pop up our little poster that we've got with Yiannah and I on it. So the year you actually choose, stop settling and start curating. So that's the topic for today. We're going to be talking about vision boards, and we're also going to be talking about why vision boards don't work or they're not the full picture. So do you want to give yourself a little bit of a rundown, Yiannah, and let us know a bit about yourself for those that haven't seen you on my channel before?
Yes. And so you should know this about me. I hate talking about myself. Which is funny for somebody who's very social. But I read soul contracts based on the sound frequency of your name. Your birth name in particular will show us your purest form of your energetic signature. I have also started teaching the soul contract work. I do have a beautiful new tarot deck. It's a very intuitive deck using the soul contract frequencies, which we will pull out later. I also have the monthly collective membership with my beautiful Your Soul Wisdom podcast ladies. So you guys, there's links below for me and Solreta. Go ahead and check it out. This collective membership is so fun. If you're looking for a community, your spiritual brother and sisters, and we have monthly calls. There's a whole community section. There's guided meditations and healings. And it's just like the most perfect group of people. And it's so crazy because I feel like what happens is in a normal situation, you probably would never meet, but then people come together and you form like this family. And so through the soul contract readings, through the collective, through the podcast, everything is just, hi, Stephanie. Stephanie is a collective member.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is absolutely amazing. And so you could ask Stephanie all about it during the chat.
We're so blessed with such a beautiful soul tribe. And that's what I love about when we get together, because it's like a blending of just beautiful, harmonious energies. So have you been a fan of vision boards? Are they something that you have made in the past?
Okay. Yes, I have once or twice. However, I have karmic sixes. I don't stick to things. Like my follow through sometimes could be a little bit lacking. And so I divert to other things. And so for me, while this is a beautiful topic, it's really important to really get to one of the main things, which is making it so simple. And what I've learned is if I could just do the simplest thing and commit to that, I can commit to other bigger things. But you have to start small. And I think one of my personal issues with a vision board is it's like the finished product. It's like, this is what I want in the end. This is what I want to accomplish. Well, there's so many steps to getting there.
Yeah.
That you can, unless you're really committed and dedicated, you could really kind of lose that focus, which for somebody like me can be an issue. So I think breaking things down is such a beautiful way to achieve that bigger picture. Right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why, it's part of the reason for me doing my potions as well, because you're sitting in ritual and it's the reminder each morning, each evening, when you are drinking that potion to have that infused attention. I'm going to share a little infographic that I made as well. There's your gorgeous website. Let me just see if I land on the right thing. Okay. I've got so many little windows and things open. So I've got my beautiful giant, I've got one of those corkboard size vision boards because I love making them.
I love that.
I've also got, and I just want you guys to keep this in mind today, when we're talking about manifestation and we're talking about curating the best year possible, a lot of us, I think, hold such tension in our bodies, in our nervous systems. We start to be like do or die kind of feeling around it. And as I've given the analogy in the past, we talk about manifestation with a tiny home, like in our belief system. that our subconscious maybe believes that that's all we can get. But then our conscious mind's like, no, damn it, I'm having the mansion. I'm going to have it all. But it's not really congruent together and we end up with nothing. So it's like those two opposites kind of cancel things out. So where we really need to do the work is reprogramming our subconscious mind, which you guys will hear me talk about on every single show, my hypnotic subliminals, because they do work. And we've got amazing reviews coming in and people manifesting abundance and money and gifts and all sorts of things, stories starting to trickle in. But yeah, I really wanted to stress the importance of the more deeply relaxed and safe we are, the better we manifest. So we need to be doing regular things, whether it's, having our potion or maybe doing meditation, yoga. And I have infused the binaural beats into my meditations as well, just to kind of put your brain into that theta state without having to kind of go through fight or flight or having to hunker down and focus. And I was saying to Yiannah, I stayed up really late because I wanted to make you guys a little infographics to share because I found some really cute pictures and I'm like, oh, this would help, in talking about the integration of the heart and brain. So this little one is the heart's electromagnetic field, and it's actually stronger than the brain. So the heart's electrical field is 60 times greater than the brain's electrical activity. So just stop and think about that for a moment in terms of when we're putting out emotion and we're putting out feelings. It's not something that we really do so much when we're working with a vision board. We might be collating pictures of things that we like, but a lot of the energy that we're putting out is that lack or that we don't have what it is that we've got on the vision board. So the magnetic strength of the heart's field can be 100 times, and in some measurements, 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field. So a lot of this is to do with our body, with our nervous system, to do with that heart-brain coherence like HeartMath talks about. So this is detectable beyond the body. Sensitive instruments can measure the heart's magnetic field several feet away. Clairvoyance, we can also see the aura, see the emotion in the aura. And emotion and field coherence, positive feelings strengthen the smooth the heart's rhythm, enhancing its electromagnetic signature. So I've got some more to share, but I don't want to hog the screen with my little picture. I want to see your gorgeous face. What's your sort of experience with, I guess, manifestation and really putting your feeling out there, just to give us a personal example?
Yeah, so it's interesting because there's of course I speak in frequency, right? Because I'm in the soul contract world. And so what happens is many of us who embody this 8 frequency or this 3 frequency, it's very much we're so much in our head that we don't drop into the body, into the heart space. So we run all these mental games and we talk ourselves out of the success, out of the love, out of the joy, out of the abundance, because we're playing every single scenario over and over and over, and then you exhaust yourself. Or we bury things so deeply that we don't feel deserving of, whatever that abundance is. And that could look any different way for anybody. And so what happens is it's really important to just surrender. That surrender piece is such a key. And I will always tell people, when you surrender, allow yourself to just feel what would it feel like if I had, a beautiful home, if I had money in my bank where all my bills were covered. You don't have to go really, really big to start off with, because I think sometimes people's nervous systems can get oh, I can't handle all the success, right? And so just have your container grow a little bit at a time to start seeing the difference and start feeling it. How does your heart feel? How does your body feel? And if you're not feeling calm, allow yourself to get into this beautiful calm state and just surrender whatever feelings come up. And I feel like personally and with my clients, because one thing I didn't mention is I also do alignment coaching, right? Which works with the frequencies. I have seen the result of when you just surrender, just let things go and allow the energy to come in, you are finally allowing the universe to give to you. Because I think what's really important too, we all want so many things, but so many of us can't even accept a simple compliment. If you can't accept a simple compliment, how can the universe give you something much larger? Because your immediate answer or reaction is, no, no, no. Oh, no, this is old. Or no, I don't look beautiful today. Or, what do you and I talk about backstage? You're like, I love this color on you. And what did I say? I said, "Oh, I just needed something more. I'm not feeling my best or whatever." And it's like we
Yeah.
go to the negative before we go to the positive. And
Yeah,
we
it's so
really need to start catching ourselves when we do that.
yeah.
So,
And it's like I was just in full admiration of like just how, yeah, gorgeous and radiant you look. And I'm like, I love that color on you. And it was coming from such a pure-hearted place too. And I
yeah.
think maybe if we can feel into that or train our brain, and I've got a little infographic too that you guys would have seen on the show before. So
Mm.
this is one of my favorites that I've made. We use this in Soul Alchemy Potions for teaching. So if we're stuck in fear, it's about moving the energy to love. And that's going to be shifting your frequency as well. So we've got the limiting emotions on the bottom, the expansive emotions on the top. And what I've written is shift your attention, your thoughts are the alchemy to create your reality. So I love what you said about surrender, and I'll share why we're up here. So this is the next little infograph. So your thoughts are the alchemy that create your reality. So I'm a bit croaky doing readings all week. Um, So why this matters for manifestation, your heart's field is part of the energy signature. So while the brain thinks, the heart radiates. And when you're bringing that heart-centered emotion like love or gratitude or belief, your manifestation practice, you engage a powerful energetic field that supports deep subconscious alignment. So the real fertile ground to plant your seeds. Sorry. So the real fertile ground to plant your seeds for change. So where you were saying like about surrendering, it's also like, as you were saying, like with accepting a compliment, and what I was saying about, I guess, the heartfelt energy of, the person giving the compliment, if we can sort of tap in and kind of mirror off that as well, sometimes it can help us leverage from that fear to love, as an example, from lower to higher frequency. And it's really interesting when you look at it in terms of the highest of high frequencies is authenticity. So, it's just about showing up as us in the world. And
Right.
then we're going through these alignments.
Well, and people feel that, right? Like when you say, "Oh, that orange looks good on you," people can feel, especially those who have a really strong intuition, they can feel that energy. They feel if you're being sincere or if you're not. They
Yeah.
feel if it's genuine. And when you connect in that manner, like for example, with you, there is this, I keep thinking of like the 13-4. It's this beautiful, soft, feminine energy, but it's so warm and inviting that it's not just the way you look and it's not the words you're using. It's this combination of this energy you exude. And people pick up on that. And if you think that you're hiding your true emotions or your true feelings, 9 out of 10 times you're not, because people are still feeling the energy underneath the words.
So
And
true.
so even like when we're trying to manifest, for you to say, or for anybody to say, "Oh, I want more abundance," or "I want this and that." Well, is your heart also connected to that? Is your
Mm,
heart also feeling what it would feel like to have those things? And that's how you amplify it. Going back to that previous graphic you had up, your heart's going to amplify everything. And so
yeah.
when you sit in that space, it just creates such a beautiful energy for you to kind of ride that wave. Because you're gonna ride a wave. So are you gonna ride one that's negative or lack thinking? Or do you want to choose the one that's going to support you in the best way possible?
Mm. That's so true. And it's interesting because 95% of communication is unconscious.
Yeah.
So we could even be picking up and translating and transmitting and telepathizing so much. But, the words are kind of the minimal. So, like when we think about the inflections or we think about the tone, we think about the expressive face. And that's one thing that I can't hide is, and I had a Vedic astrology reading just recently with Joni Portray, who's amazing on YouTube. One of my gorgeous best friends got it as a present for me. And she was saying, like, in your chart, you have this expressive way of communicating. And I'm like, that's good. That makes me, I was just thinking, like, that makes me feel better about my extreme facial expressions when I get excited or like eyebrow action, which,
Right.
when you're trying to get a freeze frame and trying to put like a thumbnail on Instagram, it's always
Right.
the weirdest faces that you catch the freeze
Totally.
on. It's so funny. But yeah, we have to just really surrender, as you were saying, and just really feel into this alignment of authenticity. So I think if we do that, This is how we attract and we find our tribes, but from a manifestation point of view too. If we go back to talking about brain and heart coherence, that synchronicity, we've got those two electromagnetic centers that are switched on at the same time. And if we can see it from a clairvoyant level, this is where we see it radiating. And this is where I individually, in the aura drawings, will see specific things that people are either manifesting or drawing to them, or their thoughts. Literally, I can see it as reality. So seeing the colors and the placement. So, what we're sort of putting in terms of information and meditation and calmness and somatic side of things, it does make a difference to our energy, which we know then goes out into the quantum. So if we can get more into regulating the nervous system, you're actually going to have more of a lasso kind of pull into drawing things in from the quantum as well. So something to kind of ponder on. Is there anything else from a manifestation point of view, just going back to our topics of why vision boards don't really work? I do feel it is the negative blueprinting that we've maybe been imprinted with from childhood. Do you sort of see things like this also come up in the soul contract? And how would we overcome some of that early on programming, or I guess number frequencies too?
The answer is yes. The simple answer is yes. What's really interesting that while I understood it, I didn't really understand it until I saw it playing out for me. What happens is we have this goal, whatever the goal is. And it's a big goal, right? It's the love of your life, and it's a lot of money, and it's a great job, and it's traveling, whatever it is. And every day, while your present reality may not reflect that, every day you have to stay in that wavelength of having and attracting that big thing, right? It's so easy because we don't see it. We don't see that lasso bringing things closer to us. It's so easy for us to get discouraged, for us to lose focus, for us to give up, for us to all these things. And that's when sabotage comes in. And it's funny because you start to talk yourself out of why you can't have it, why you're not getting it, why you don't deserve it, why. And you start to change plans instead of keeping focus. And so I tell my clients, and this is actually a conversation I had with beautiful Rachel, who is on Your Soul Wisdom. She's in the community, just love her. But something that I needed her for, I said, I need a buddy. I need somebody that when I catch that sabotage coming in, and this was a really big dream that I had, and it was at my fingertips. I was living it. But my body, my nervous system wasn't regulated yet to accept it and to keep it. So I would call her and I'd be like, Rachel, I'm completely sabotaging because I'm talking myself out of this thing. And she would bring me back. So it's really important to catch those negative thoughts or those fleeting thoughts that come in regularly that can deter you from your goal or could discourage you, and find a buddy that's going to help be that lasso for you. Right? Because we all need a cheerleader, and sometimes we just can't cheerlead for ourselves. Does that make sense?
It really does. Yeah. And, I love being that friend too, for whether it's like family or other friends. And it recenters you. It kind of repivots you back to, I look at it as an Eight of Wands in tarot. So, Eight of Wands is this energy looking a little bit chaotic, like this spinning wheel or a compass, and it's out of control. And that's in the Thoth deck, the one I'm describing. So it's Mercury and Sagittarius. So it's like our mind is literally like, I should try this or I should try that. And it's like from a 3D level where we're really trying to push the manifestation to happen, because like we're so uh it's like we're craving that change. We're craving that, that lover or that beautiful house. And so what the energy is actually saying, because energy doesn't lie, it's like there's this resistance kind of force into like bullying the universe into making it happen. So what we actually need to do is collapse that thought, collapse that resistant kind of energy, and we need to actually step into high priestess mode, because the high priestess isn't chasing things. She's actually just hands to the air, anchoring, and really like just admitting this frequency of I've already got it. And you see in the bottom of that particular card all of this abundance. There's all of the 5 elements represented as platonic solids. There's grapes for the sweetness in life. There's, all sorts of images and pictures. And I think if I can just explain that for another point of view, if we talk about it in terms of like the magnetics to do with attraction and the magnetics to do with relationship energy, this is another way to explain it. If we've got someone who's more kind of like unsettled in their nervous system and they're looking for external validation, they sometimes will attract someone who's an avoidant. And so what happens is you've got the person coming in like wanting love and wanting affection, and the avoidance like, oh, this is too much. So we don't want to be in an avoidant kind of relationship with our dreams
Right.
and manifestations with the universe. So we need to be, to the universe, I'm fully worthy and deserving of having that amazing lover or that beautiful dream soulmate energy. Of course, they're attracted to me. We need to be in this like open, receptive, magnetizing energy. And then we're not going to have like the universe in avoidance mode or picking up on our
Right.
resistance. We need to make ourselves the vessel for what it is that we're carving out. So I think vision boards in that way can remind us to come back into alignment, to kind of play that identity of the person who already has it. But that's 5% of it. As we
Right.
said in the infographic, it's the 95% that's the subconscious mind that's running the program.
Well, what's so funny is you're talking about, sitting in that receiving mode. And here's the difference between you and I. You have that beautiful feminine energy. The feminine receives. The masculine, I sit more in my masculine. It's also in my soul contract chart. It's a 10-1 for anybody who has it. But the masculine gives, the feminine receives. Well, as I'm sitting here, I consciously realize as you were speaking about the receiving that I am sitting forward in my masculine and you're sitting backwards in your
Ah,
feminine. You're
interesting.
open to receiving. And so you right now in this moment are a total reminder for me to sit in that feminine and allow the universe to give to you. Because if we're always doing, then the
Mm,
universe goes, well, she's doing it all. Like, how can where's the space for me to come in and give? Because we reject everyone else because we're just doing everything. And so it's so important to sit back, allow the universe to do its thing.
mm,
What is the universe signing up for when it comes to your manifestations? What's their part of the job or its part of the job? And so allow the universe to do its thing. But we
mm.
just can get in the way so easily. And sometimes it can be a rude awakening, and sometimes you could catch it really quickly. And hopefully it's a quick one.
Yeah. Oh, Rach is saying, this is perfect timing for me. I'm so happy. It's so lovely to have you with us too, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. Um, yeah, that's so interesting. Like on a physiological level, I didn't even realize like I'm leaning back. It's like we subconsciously, energetically, we actually know what it takes to
Oh,
to
yeah.
be in these states. And it's really interesting because manifestation for me has not always been through like if I look at it from an astrology level and things too, it's not always to do with me directly going out and getting that. It is actually a lot of the time through networks or other connections or even gift giving. Like I've received some of the most amazing gifts, and it's like I'm not even putting out or
Right.
expecting it. It's just, yeah. Do you know what the download I'm getting around this? It's like we actually can think of the universe as like a lover in a way. I don't know why that word keeps
Mm,
coming up, but I keep getting this vision of like flirting with the universe and just, it's that saying of show me how good it can get. So
yes.
I'm just getting this download around what if we manifest from it in this way? So we're not in this energy of like fear or like nagging the universe. We actually need to like lean back and let the universe show me how good it can get. All right, you want to pour some luxury onto me? You want to wine and dine me? What's that? You've got roses for me? Think about it in that way. And it's kind of playful. It changes the frequency and energy as well. That's just the download spirit showing me as we're
Well,
talking about this.
Well, it's funny because you're saying that, and what comes to me right away is Lauren, who is another member of Your Soul Wisdom on the podcast with us. It was this time last year. Yes, it was this time last year. I was going through something, and because I had gone through something, I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit in that masculine. I'm just going to make things happen. And I was a little all over the place, and she calls me and she goes, look, what I want you to do is until your birthday. Now, this was January. My birthday's in early April. She's like, until your birthday, I don't want you to have any expectations. I just want you to be open to whatever comes your way. And now as a doer, I was like, what? Like, I can't just sit back and relax. I need to be doing. And she's like, Yiannah, she's like, just really think about it. Take this time and just let the universe show up. Don't reject anything, because we think that the thing we're going to want or get is going to show up in a certain way. So we reject anything outside of that. And so I said to her, fine. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way I can make it till April. It's impossible. Long story short, I followed that advice. And one of my biggest dreams and wishes for my life came to me about not even a month later. And the way it came to me, I would have absolutely rejected it. And what I have now, I have prayed for about 17 years, for if we're counting. And
Wow.
so just allow the thing, surrender to the universe, allow it to be your lover, allow it to show up with those gifts. Don't worry about how it's going to show up. Just
Mm.
trust it. And I will tell you, Lauren single-handedly changed my life in this one
Oh,
beautiful, beautiful aspect. And it was the best advice that I thought there's no way I could take, but I'm so glad that I did. And so I always recommend that to people, because if something could work for me, it could work
mm.
for anybody. That's just how that works.
Yeah, I love that. And Lauren, she's another gorgeous Australian woman. So I'm sure that most of you have probably seen her on Your Soul Wisdom podcast as well,
Yes.
because you've got a collection of Aussies, which is so lovely. It's
Well,
nice.
you should know that the end of April, we're all meeting
Oh my
in,
gosh.
well, we're starting off in Melbourne, and then we're going to Dales.
Oh, Jailsford?
Yes. And then we're
Oh,
going to Adelaide, and then we'll do some Sydney, because I'm like, if I come, I have to see it all. And
wow.
so we will obviously document all that and share that on our YouTube channel. But this is what community is about, right? Finding
Yeah,
your people. There's no reason for me to go to Australia. There's no reason for any of us to have connected, but the universe brings things in for you. And then
yeah.
you build stuff off of that. And so just allow things to come in. What a beautiful, like, reminder of that.
Mm. Yeah, that's magic. Even the synchronicities and just you and I meeting as well. And it just felt like I've always known you. It's like,
Always.
oh, there's another gorgeous girlfriend who, lives over in the States.
Yeah.
And it
And
just,
so
we attract our soul tribe.
totally. And it's that starseed energy is what it feels like to me. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I always understood it as the 8 frequency. And hearing you in that one hypnosis discuss the star seeds, and when you were explaining it, everything about it matched up. And it's all about community and you finding your soul team. They're always searching for
Mm.
home because this place does not feel like home.
That's so
And
true.
when they find each other, it's this natural, like, we've been family and friends for forever. There's no
Yeah.
work that needs to be put in. It just naturally comes together. And I think that's a huge manifestation energy as well. Just allowing the things to work together without trying to force them,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that's that tapping into flow again. And I know I've given the example of on other podcasts that I've done a couple of times, just talking about that we also need to take that inspired action if we are getting the download or if we're getting the message from our higher self or from God, our guides, the universe, parallel versions of self, because there's so many ways the messages come in, angelics and synchronicities and things. But if we sort of just sit there and we don't act or respond to when we get that message to move or message to, to go out to a certain place, it's that I think it's been a meme or something. I've seen it like someone like sitting on the couch under a blanket, like waiting for like, why haven't I met my soulmate yet? It's like we have to put ourselves out there.
Right.
And yeah, I think for some of us, when we look at our chart and we look at our soul contracts, certain things are easier to manifest compared to other topics. So, like certain areas of your life. And with doing a vision board at the start of the year, it also sometimes can be good to make a little round circle, divide it into different sections. So, you might have health, you might have love, money, other relationships, work, career, and like put down, from 0 to 10, how happy you are with it, and really look at like, what do I need to get a little bit more balance with? Because you might have one or two areas that are feeling really good. You might be feeling neutral in a lot of stuff, which just shows that we need to shift and change some things. Have you got any tips for, I guess, like for creating that shift? Because sometimes we'll have a block. What helps you to push past your blocks?
Well, I was actually going to derail us for a second. So can I just derail us for 1 second?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been having this inner conflict lately, through my work, through personal experience, life, like all of that. So the first thing is, do you believe that the major things in your life are predestined?
It's interesting, even like with my partner that I have now, there was this like crossing over or blending of like coming together in the same community, but not being at that timeline of meeting each other yet on a deeper level. And so there was like coming together in another community, totally unrelated and separate, of where we actually did meet and see each other and get together. But I do believe like the timeline was a factor. And I believe there was experience he had to go through and experiences I had to go through. So when I look at our astrology charts, I actually see us show up in each other's charts too. So part of me
Mm.
is like, okay, well, that's written in the stars, and the fact we have like the same sign in certain things. And yeah, so part of me does believe there are some things that are predestined, but I also believe we can rewrite, recode, and change and shift timelines as well, and cancel contracts and agreements.
Okay, see,
Sorry to confuse you.
no, 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 no. That's where I'm at. But I look at it like, okay, if
Mm.
things are predestined, which I do believe that the big things in our life are predestined, but then
Yeah.
also I can rework things, I can cancel things out, I can say no thank you to this and choose something else. Those two don't, in my mind, don't flow together. They don't make sense together. It feels like it's one or the other, not one and the other. And so many times I sit there and I think, if I make a goal, but then I veer off of that goal, was I never going to accomplish that? Was that never for me? Did I fail at that? Or did I miss the opportunity because I didn't X, Y, and Z? Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm getting the download or the image of the Ace of Wands or like an Ace of Swords. It's like spirit can come in, or our higher self, and give us like a bit of a heads up or an opportunity. But it's like our choice whether we physically feel into that and take action around that too. So it's like there's that saying of what's meant for you will never truly pass you by if it's really meant for you. And I believe that's where we sort of look at that energy from, a soul level or on a soul contract level as well, that there might be things that karmically that we're destined to go through. And it's interesting because this is where we start to head towards past lives. Because what
Right.
I see with my clients with, the holistic health side of things, some things we've carried through from past lives. And energetically, clairvoyantly, you might see that energy show up stuck, congested in chakras, and we might have done all of the mental work, we might have done the NLP, the EFT tapping, doing the shifting. But if there's something really there from a past life, sometimes you'll see it corded and stuck in energetically. So I think there's like multiple layers of why things can be a certain way. So I love to clear things from an energetic level with pranic healing. And then I love to do the subconscious reprogramming. But I think that also opens us up to this like, okay, the GPS, like spiritually and life wise, is now clear. We're not going rerouting on the same paths, and just we're actually kind of more free to see where we're guided by spirit and guided by our higher selves.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a very long answer. I'm not sure if
No,
I
no,
answered
no.
your
Listen, no,
question.
it does, and I'm with you. There is this, so in the soul contract world, there's these two frequencies. One is the 5-5, which is part of my soul purpose, and one is the 11-2. And they are the ones that want to search for it's all about the truth, but like the holy grail truth. Like I'm not just satisfied with like the surface level. I need to know and dig behind everything so I have the entire full picture in front of me and I know how to proceed. And this was never a thing that I had ever questioned or thought about. I was always very firm in it. And lately, it just keeps coming up and keeps coming up. And I feel like I'm being challenged to uncover more because it just doesn't, it feels like there's so much more that I need to know or so much more available, and I'm trying to grab it. And so I've officially completely derailed us, but this is a really good question for anybody who's watching and listening. How does that feel for you? You're on mute, Solreta. How does that feel for you? Because it's one of those things where it's okay to go back and forth on it, right? I think the more flexible you are in life, the more you allow yourself to explore and learn more, and feel what really feels good for you. But it's such a big thing where I'm sorry, in this moment, it was one of those, I'm like, I can't focus on anything else until I get that out.
Yeah, no, I'm so intrigued. I feel like I want to go back and watch that part again just to let it sink in deeper as well. Is there any epiphanies or awareness that's sort of coming to you now around that question?
Yeah, actually, I totally pictured me, you, and Jake, like
Oh,
Jake writing some kind of hypnosis and me asking these questions and you just getting those answers for us. What? But I think that sounds really good.
okay. Jacob, if you're listening to this on replay, we have a special request. I
Yes, I will come with all the questions, and so
love
Rita,
that.
you'll help us tap into it because it's not just curiosity, it's this yearning that I can't shake. I can't
Mm,
shake it. I need to know more, and it needs to feel like truth to me.
yeah.
Because I think we can talk ourselves in and out of anything, and just like, these vision boards or whatever our goals are, you can talk to yourself into any goal. You can talk to yourself into any vision. You can also talk yourself out of those goals and those visions and go back and forth. And sometimes, like I'll see it in the soul contract work. There's some people, oh my God, I love that. There's some people
Can't wait.
who sit there and go, oh, like I can see that they're the type that go back and forth. And that's okay. But it feels like you're doing something wrong sometimes. And it could feel like you're failing. And it's so important to give yourself grace. And I think this leads back to the original question you asked me before I completely derailed us. But I think giving yourself some grace and understanding that you're not always going to be on the ball. Sometimes you're going to have days or moments or weeks where you're just like, oh, I feel tired, defeated, unfocused, blah, blah, blah. And that's okay. Allow yourself to have that rest and then just get back on. The worst thing we can do is be hard on ourselves. But also, if you're going to set really big goals, I mean, God bless, it's amazing, but have some small ones that help you along the way to help you keep that vision. Because it can be really hard to climb a mountain going, God, where is this top? When am I ever going to reach the top? And you
Mm,
could be really close, but because you can't see it, you can easily give up because you're like, I'm just tired. I've been doing this so long. I'm tired now. And so I think it's really important to give yourself that grace and to regroup if that's what you need to do, but just stay on
mm.
task. Did
Yeah.
that answer the original question?
Well, just as I love it and this one I love talking to you about because I always feel that there's like a stretching and a growing and a learning that happens with our conversations. So what when you're talking about that, what I keep seeing is, with my lovely partner, he, as we say over here in Australia, works his butt off. And it's like working at day, might come home, have dinner, and then he's like working into the night as well.
Mm,
And, you just see him just going to bed so tired. And it's like the next day the alarm goes off, but it's like he has a passion for what he does. So energetically, he still kind of loves, getting up to do what
oh,
he
yeah.
what he does. But it's like there's a point where the body's like, you know what? I can't tolerate this anymore. I just
Yeah.
need to sleep. So I think this is with what you're saying energetically, the more that we can sort of lean in, and this is a very female cycle thing too. So there's certain phases of our female cycle. I won't get into like the exact science around it, but it's like you have times where your body's like, you know what? I've got PMS. I'm irritated at the world.
Yeah.
And it's like even that brand of chocolate that maybe like hits 98% of the time just isn't doing it for me today.
Right.
So like this is where we need to, really look at our energy levels, look at like, what do I have capacity for right now? And I think what I've learned too is certain things that work better for me to help keep me in alignment would be not overdoing it in terms of like too many readings a day, not eating crappy food because that just impacts all areas of my life for me. So,
Mm.
eating really clean. That, but yeah, like looking at like how can we sort of stay in alignment, but how can we also make sure that like we know when the radar is going off when we're moving out of alignment too.
Right, to avoid that burnout.
Yeah, yeah,
And
just
I
to keep
think
the energy in like constant charge and reserve.
right,
We need to be kind to ourselves essentially.
100%. I think one of the biggest issues that I've seen is that a lot of us have this, like we may know what our limit is, and so we push it thinking that we're going to gain a better result. But really, what you're doing is you're pushing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually to the
Mm,
point where you're going to burn out. But it
yeah.
also doesn't feel right to not give 100%.
Mm,
Right? So it's really about checking in and going, is this really serving me right now? Is this really going to give me the best outcome? If I put this task to tomorrow, because I've already done hours worth of whatever today, is it really going to make or break me? What can I find the balance in? Because so many of us, when we're getting focused, and especially when we do what we do, there's no rule book. There's no team. Your paycheck's not coming from someone who's going to deliver it to you on your desk.
yeah.
You're the marketing director, you're the main product, you're everything. You're the CEO, you're the executive, you're the receptionist, you are the IT person, you're everything. And it's so easy to go, well, I have to keep doing, producing so I can get because I don't have a regular paycheck coming in, whether I work my 40 hours a week or not. And
Mm,
so sometimes you can reach that burnout. And I will tell you for me, because I do this, I also have an olive oil business with my family. The holidays season on both my soul contract readings and the olive oil business are so intense that for 2.5 months, I was completely go, go, go. There was not a day off. And I think it was in between Christmas and New Year's, or maybe the week after, I had 3 days where I was like, it's only family time. I'm not doing anything else. And in
yeah.
those 3 days, it was so hard for my body to come down that I almost crashed a bit. It was this mental, emotional, physical crash. And it was in that moment where I was like, why did I, again, put myself through that? I should
Yeah.
have balanced it better to avoid that crash. But sometimes when we love what we do, you just overlook. You don't even think about it. It's not even in the rearview mirror. It's just not even present until that 2x4 comes in and goes boop, and you're knocked down. So
Yeah.
checking in with yourself and trying to find that balance is such a key to keeping and preventing that burnout.
Yeah. And I guess it's also looking at just stabilizing our energy. So if we are caught up in moments of chaos like that, they call it the silly season, where can you schedule just like one-on-one time with yourself or things that are going to be giving you energy or that are nurturing? So I've learned, I guess, after the last, I don't know, however many years, just book out time because there's been times where I forgot to block out Easter on my calendar and I've worked all the way through Easter, I forgot to block out except for Christmas Day, and I've worked either side of it. So
Oh,
now I try, yeah. And so I've learned from not projecting further forward into the future. So at the start of the year, I sometimes will go and just try and like script out or block out the calendar because I'm like, the later version of me will totally forget that that's
right.
going to come around the corner at some point. So if we can have like the pre-thought, I think sometimes it just makes it easier when it comes to that time of the year. And this year just gone was probably like the easiest low maintenance kind of Christmas that I've done because I left time for me to not rush to
Right.
wrap presents and to get everything done for like the kids and the nieces and nephews and everyone. And I actually got to be really present and enjoy it because I made little,
Mm.
you would have loved it. It was so cute. We had little cauldrons that I got for my nieces and we were mixing
Oh,
bicarb soda and vinegar with a little bit of food dye. And we had like all these herbs and we were making potions that just bubbled over the top of the cauldrons. And even now, they'll be like spending 2 hours a day making potions, and they're outside
Oh,
and they're like in contact with nature. And I've given them all these little herb cards with like, the magic of like the dandelion flowers, so they can go and pick the yellow dandelions, things they've got in their gardens. So it's like I actually wouldn't have been present to be able to enjoy
right.
that if I'd been working so much. So I think, we need to schedule time for the magic to come into, and to put
Um,
ourselves in places where we can receive that. So it might be a
right.
sound bath, or, going to a breathwork class. I think, look at, I guess, this year and what's going to bring us energy, and make sure we're scheduling time for that, because we're going to be in much of a higher state and frequency if we can, add things rather than think about everything that we have to do.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I also need you to be my aunt, and I need you to be my daughter's aunt and teach me all about all the herbs and, what to put in my cauldron because you have such a beautiful talent with that, and
Thank you.
your knowledge, I feel like, is more natural than learned, and so, like, it's just I think the world needs to know it. So I think that's something you should also put out because, you know
I'll see if I can find a photo while we're talking as well.
Yes, I
It just
love that. I love that.
And it's funny,
But
I was looking at it from the childhood point of view of what is it that I would love to receive, or what is it that I would love to create? And let me just pop this up. So I don't have any photos of family, like
Oh.
my kids or my nieces and that online. So I can't show you the magic on their faces as they're watching the bubbles come up. But
Oh,
these are the
that is
cute
so cute.
cauldrons, and this is the vinegar, the blue vinegar. So that was the dragon's blood, and the little pink bottle of like fluffy bicarb soda in the background was fairy dust. So, we got them to write their little pictures or scribble, because some of them are like 3 years old, on their scrolls, and they would hold that magic and intention. And then they've got their little shaker crystals, and then bigger crystals. They had a little scarf that I had so that they could set out like a magic workspace, if they were doing the inside less messy work. Yeah. Oh, going
Oh,
into.
hey, girlfriend.
I hope you get there. Actually, that is in Byron, or just out of Byron Bay. So I'm
Okay,
hoping
you'll have to send it
it
to
goes
me.
in this. I will
Listen,
send it to you. You don't want to
well
miss it.
I told the, podcast ladies because 'cause we're all meeting up, right? We're
Yeah.
spending days together, and so I said, "I just wanna show up. I wanna know, like, what it's gonna cost me and what time and what day I need to be there. I don't wanna do a single lick of work outside of that. I'm a really great traveler, not a really good planner when it comes to that. So you'll have to send it so I can give it to Rachel, and hopefully Rachel can make it work
Definitely.
for us." Oh
And
my god.
I'm sure this would be one of the places that, Rachel and Lauren would already know about. It's like Jurassic Park for crystals. It's just this otherworldly place that exists where it feels like there's no time and no space. And there's beautiful, like giant Buddha statues with crystals inlaid into it, like lapis and rose quartz.
Wow.
There's mandalas of crystals that you can walk. And so it's just, the crystals are taller than my house. They've got some of the largest amethyst geodes that you will ever see. So yeah, it's just magic. But I guess with this too, and looking at vision boards, it's a really good reflection to think about how can we as adults add some of this magic back into our lives? Because I know as a kid every day I was playing potions in the schoolyard. I had a tree stump that was hollowed out, and I'd be there with my dirt and my mud, and like secretly getting water because you weren't supposed to do water play. I'd be like filling up little containers and like running over to my cauldron. I had my two little witchy friends there. We'd be like stirring and like toiling trouble every day. And I remember feeling sad when I had to go to high school, because I'm like, oh, I have to kind of be a grown up and be
Right.
like, can't do that anymore because that's like babyish. But it's just so interesting how we put these, pretexts on things, or these rules and things. And it's like, no, F that. Let's all like have fun and make potions and things again.
Yeah, but listen, but you have been magical from, like, day 1, right? Most people, that's not their nature to be playing with that or be thinking about that or anything. That's why I think it's so important to educate yourself, to play that way. People like you, the value in that Solreta is priceless. because there is this childlike element you bring. There's this magic, there's this fairy dust, there is just this hope and excitement and blessings and all this energy that you embody, that you are a gift like that in itself. Okay, so thank you for being in my life. Okay, because it's really hard to find that. And I think just you even talking about it helps encourage and build that in other people. I mean, I feel the energy of it and just feels so good. So
Thank
good.
you. That's so sweet.
I
And
mean,
yeah, I mean, you helped to explain it also in the past with my soul contract. And so I
right.
do highly encourage, if you guys have not had your soul contract read by Yiannah, please do so, because you will learn so much and it will help you psychologically to understand why you do the things that you do. So like what we're talking about with this play and, the magic in that, it shows up in my chart, it shows up in my soul contract. For those of you that are into astrology, it just shows up as Libra in the fifth house
Mm.
energy. Yeah, and there's softness because there's Mars and things. So I have like a softer side of Mars. But yeah, there's a whole heap. There's like a stellium of things I've got in the fifth house, which is all around creativity, play. It's a Leo house as well. So it's like, you get to be the big kid. Um, Let me just bring up one of our little infographics to make sure that we're getting through the little ones that I stayed up making.
Oh my God,
we
you're
need to
just
we
right.
need to share them. So this one, hypnotic subliminal meditations transform your life from the inside out. So where we're talking about like having fun and doing all the things, if you guys are still experiencing resistance, because as we said in the other previous one, and it says it in here as well, so I'll just read this. So how they work: subconscious reprogramming, unlike standard affirmations or willpower alone, or like nagging the universe, as we were talking about. Subliminal meditations speak directly to the subconscious mind, the part of you that actually runs your behaviors, your habits, your beliefs, and automatic responses. Just as we were saying before, like accepting the compliments and things, or not accepting. So, research shows that up to 95% of our daily behavior is driven by the subconscious, not the conscious mind. So, my hypnotic subliminal meditations are a powerful guided audio experience that go far beyond ordinary meditation. So, each of them, the hypnotic subliminals, has hypnotic language patterns that I've created and put in there, as well as binaural beats, isotonic tones, theta wave frequencies. But I've also embedded affirmations that bypass the conscious mind, because it's almost like when we look at like how we're operating on a day-to-day level, with 95 of the percent driven from this subconscious, if we've got a crappy kind of like identity or a crappy subconscious blueprint, we're not really going to get the results and things. So this is where we need to dive in and really reprogram at that core level to create that lasting change and to create that shift. So I think this was my last little one with this. So fast track the path of least resistance. So here's how hypnotic subliminals create real change. So they bypass the mental resistance. Messages are layered below the conscious awareness, allowing your subconscious mind to absorb them without that sort of pushback, rejection, skepticism, or criticism. Neural priming and emotional encoding. So I also take you through an emotionally invoking new identity shift in each of them, of where we actually embody and we practice that embodiment in each of them. So repeated subconscious messages shape difficult patterns or default patterns and help new empowering beliefs to take root. And this entrains our receptive brain state. So binaural beats and theta frequencies create the most relaxed, receptive state where the brain is most open to deep change. So yeah, just want to share that with you guys. For those of you really wanting to shift things this year, it is one of the fast track methods to really bypass that conscious mind, to get us out of, many of us will go from a nervous system state where we get into fawn, which is like a deer in headlights, and we sort of stop and do nothing. And we just end up kind of twiddling our thumbs, or we might be in fight or flight. And so we're acting out of fear. So I really wanted to help rewrite the script on that. And that's why I created these, because I couldn't find something for myself that really just did it. And you guys know I've been to Dr. Joe Dispenza's event, and I've been to, I've done a life of study essentially when it comes to the brain and neuroscience and kinesiology and hypnosis and all of these things. And yeah, so this is really born out of love to make a difference in our soul tribe's life as well as my own. So yeah, I just want
Okay.
to share
So I love this. And now I got one more question for our session with Jake and you. And the
that. Okay.
question would be, and this is something for us to even talk about right now, like even like rhetorical, where do you believe, like where do these limiting beliefs come from? Where does these subconscious not feeling like it's worthy enough or the living in lack and all that? In my mind, I think, is that a different version of me that's playing out that story? And so it impacts this version of me from fully stepping into whatever that is. Like, where do those thought patterns actually come in? Because
This is
in my work, I have noticed how when I see someone's soul contract, I'm like, oh, these are the frequencies that are playing out. It was like a download I got one day. You know, I don't do the word download because for me, it's not like I'm not magical like you. But all of a sudden, all this information came in, and it was that we have, for I'll use me as the example. I have the same exact frequencies playing out in every single reality, but they're playing out in different ways. And when one version of me upgrades in a certain aspect, it upgrades every single version of me across the board, right? Until we all kind of unite into one version of Yiannah, if you will. Right. And
yeah.
I don't know if that's timelines collapsing, however you want to describe it, but because I'm always like, well, if it shows in my physical karma, which is past life stuff, that, you know, I was stuck or I couldn't make the changes. And in this life, it's such a huge theme for me to be able to get focused, break through, make the change, have success, get creative, all that. Then all those other versions have to be playing out. And so
Mm.
it's just one of those where I will ask Jake to ask you, where did those thoughts come from?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's two different things I can see, like within what you were saying. So I just commented yesterday on a post. There was actually a hypnotherapist in a session that had someone else's other parallel version of them show up in a hypnosis session and come in to teach them. And I put my little comment in because this is what I see as a clairvoyant all the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but like in my readings, I attract a lot of really highly spiritually developed clients. So for those that have really done the spiritual work, that are like tapping in and are here like as an evolved soul, you will see where they're not just living that 3D linear life of past, present, future. What we actually see happen is instead of a guide come in to teach them and to be like the little, I guess, person to make sure we're staying on track or to give us like messages or, yeah, inspiration and things, what we see is the higher developed part of our oversoul. So if we imagine a diamond fractal of these gorgeous light shining, and one of those little sparkles might be a soul essence that we have with us here on earth in this temple in this body. But for those of us that sometimes achieve like an awareness or an awakened state in a non-human experience or
Hmm.
another timeline, for example, you'll sometimes see this version come in to like teach and talk to the other one about how we can upgrade, how we can make change. So where you were saying like that one version of Yiannah comes in, makes the change, then all of you guys are up leveled. That's actually what I see clairvoyantly, but not everyone works in that way.
Right.
Most people are still running with their guides, and we all still have guides as well. But when we get into the advanced state of shifting things, you're actually coming in to kind of teach yourself how to up level and upgrade. So you're really like mastering your own wisdom. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. But in terms of like the other part of the question is it's not just the blueprint of what we get from the first 7 to 9 years of life that Rudolf Steiner talks about, of absorbing everything in the atmosphere
Right.
around us, our parents preconditioning, they're getting it from their parents as well. So we've got like a multi-generational blueprint that we receive at birth. And also, different things that happen in our environment will also shape
Right.
us and other people coming in. What I also see is thought forms oracally attaching in. So, say someone might have a little bit of low self worth. You might find that they pick up a hitchhiker energetically that's going to feed that. And so sometimes we end up like growing something that started out small. So it's definitely important with pranic healing to dissolve thought forms because it helps breaks us free. It breaks us free from like the bonds or the handcuff chains that are holding us back. So sometimes bursting the little bubble on thought forms will actually kind of have a compound effect of jumping you further forward so that you're not getting that energetic resistance that we were talking about with manifesting before. So, say, for example, there might be a belief that we have around not feeling worthy and deserving around a relationship. These little critters come along and like attach and sort of like feed that energy of, whether it's little things of saying we don't feel or look our best today, or, don't go out of the house because like you don't want to be seen. We have to so interesting. So spirit sometimes will come in and give me one word when I'm about to say another. I was going to say we have to like delete or like disintegrate that, and they're giving me the word extinguish, like a firefighter's kind of like extinguisher. So we have to distinguish and then extinguish is the exact words they're giving me. So if we can realize, hold on a minute, that's actually not my thought. So we really need to have that higher awareness that these kinds of astral entities do exist. And some of them are spirits and souls that have exited the physical world and passed on. So a bar or like a pub is a really great example of like thought forms and entities that have maybe had alcohol addiction. And when they leave this earth and die, they may still kind of haunt or like visit a place where there's
Right.
a really strong affliction or addiction. So yeah, thought forms are real. So definitely to dissolve them is one of the big things that we need to be doing as well. And I just did a show, my weekly read yesterday. This week is actually very highly charged for entities and thought forms trying to come in as little tricksters. So it's definitely about upgrading. Yeah. This is the week to upgrade and learn a bit more about it. And we don't want to be learning about it direct. We want to be doing our protection, doing our energy clearing, a bit of salt in the shower, scrubbing, cleaning the aura is a really good way to do it. Or having a soak for 20 minutes in a bath with a couple of giant handfuls of salt is another way that we can clear it. So yeah, it's a little bit different to what the question started out.
That's okay. I'm going to finish this and I will go take my salt bath just to make sure that I am all good.
But yeah, it's just about catching it and really realizing. And it's like that, gosh, I want to get into conspiracies, but it'll be a whole nother show.
I'm
We've
here
talked
for it, okay?
we've talked about voice to scale technology on my podcast as well before. It's a real thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
we really need to know what's our voice, what's our soul feel like, and anything that isn't that, we need to clear it and purge it.
Amen. I love
Yeah.
it. Okay,
And
listen. Until next time when we get together with Jake. Jake, if you're listening, we need to make this happen because I have a lot of questions. Okay. And then thank you for spending this time or allowing me to spend this time with you. It is always such a joy. I could see right now, like I'm in Chicago, right? So it's our evening. And it's as we were talking, I just see this beautiful sunset in front of me. And it's
uh,
just like as good as that energy feels to just watch that and be able to observe the beauty of that is how good it feels to be in this space, in this presence with you. So thank you for allowing me to be here and sharing this moment with you and everybody who's watching and listening.
Oh, thank you so much for our soul tribe, and also to you, Yiannah. It's just, I always get so much out of our chats, and I love that feeling of growth that happens with our conversations and being able to look at things from like a different point of reality and really sort of like with a bit of a microscope on some areas too, or a magnifying glass. I just want to share this. This is like a really good one to finish on as well. So, stop waiting for Friday, for summer, for someone to fall in love with you, or for life. Happiness is achieved when you stop wanting or stop waiting for it, and you make the most of the moment that you're in now. So it's not always about having to sort of like plan something for future, but really look at what you can do now. And if you guys have been struggling with trying to create shift or change, Yiannah and I do have a lot of products. Everything is in the description box below. So I'm just going to pop up the little photos that we've got and the little websites that you guys can go to. And yeah, you guys, thank you so much for the reviews. that I'm seeing, it just lights my heart up to see something I've created that
Oh,
people
I love
are loving.
that.
Makes me so happy. So thank you. And thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to have you back and to get the download on like what the next topic will be as well.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye, guys.
Thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you on with Jacob as well.
Yes, we're going to make that happen.
We will. He would love to. All right, gorgeous. You have
Bye,
a wonderful
everybody.
night. Bye, everyone.